All right, let's begin.
Doctoral intern, and today we're going to be talking about a low-risk way to get more intimate with people. Is from Radically Open DBT. If you're familiar with DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, Radically Open DBT or RODBT is a slight variation on the original DBT. So today's technique is called Match Plus One. I'm going to explain the technique to you, I'm going to run through a quick example for how to use it, and then also just give you a few additional tips for how to use this worksheet or handout in order to assess your relationships. So Match Plus One is a technique where you want to get closer to someone, so you start with less personal disclosures, and then you assess to see if it's being reciprocated, and then if it is, you elevate it plus 1 degree. So if it's matched, then you can add a level of vulnerability to what you are disclosing about yourself. And if it's not, understandably, you can stay in the same area or actually match down. It's kind of a combination between matching people's energy and assessing for reciprocation. It's kind of like a feedback loop, figuring out how much you want to be vulnerable depending on how much other people are responding to your vulnerability. Because of course, as you can imagine, if you're constantly trying to get intimate with someone, trying to be emotionally open and vulnerable with them, and they're not responding, that's pretty high risk. It puts you at risk of being rejected or feeling abandoned or feeling like you're investing more in a relationship than they are returning. So this is a technique for starting slow so that you have gains over time when that trust starts to build. You're becoming more intimate with other people, but at the same time, you're not taking huge risks. So, it's not like you're being extremely vulnerable and someone is rejecting you for it. It's low risk because it allows you to gauge early on if someone is going to reject you before you've revealed extremely personal or vulnerable information about yourself where the stakes would be higher. So let's run through an example. Let's say that you are talking to a classmate next to you. So levels 1 or 2 of intimacy would be talking about everyday non-emotional events, things like the weather, traffic, the taste of a meal, or stating opinions about non-emotional topics such as the service at a restaurant or the color of a room. So you're sitting next to your classmate and you're wanting to be in that level 1 to 2 intimacy. You might say something like, oh, the readings took me a really long time to complete this week. And then you assess, are they reciprocating? Are they saying, oh yeah, it took me a really long time as well, or actually I didn't do the reading? Or are they just kind of blowing you off and saying, oh yeah, I get it. If they match your level of disclosure, you can
Go
bump it up
deeper.
to like a level 3 or 4, where you're making
Okay.
non-emotional disclosures about personal goals or
This feels like common sense to me, but I think that yeah, I think this feels like common sense, but I know what she's saying because some people don't have this intuition. Some people don't have like this is like common sense. Like you don't start off with like how's your dad? How did he die? You know what I'm saying? You start off with, how where are you from? Like basic shit, and then you slowly I do this actually. This is something that I actually do, but I never thought about it and consciously thought about it. But it is true because when you do this, you could get people to open up pretty quickly. But the key is to know which ones are the ones that want to open up because this is all about sensing whether or not you could open up.
values, things like politics, parenting, philosophy, or you're making emotional or passionate disclosures about non-personal topics such as world peace, or you're revealing socially acceptable personal preferences such as I love to go mountain biking. So let's say the next class comes along, you're sitting next to this person, you know that they responded to a level 1 or 2 disclosure. A level 3 or 4 might be something like telling the other person about your plans for the weekend. Maybe you have a weekend trip planned somewhere, or
So this works really well if you want to get to know someone and if you want to slowly ask them out, like the slow burn, right? Rather than trying to do it fast, you do it slowly. So each day, I guess you're like, all right, I gotta go with everyday stuff, and then now non-committal stuff, and then now my feelings about something. Like you slowly, and it's a good way not to go too far. It's a good way not to overextend yourself while trying to close the gap. I mean, I imagine this is actually what psychologists use, I think.
maybe talking about something from the class that came up, like a political topic, and giving your opinion on what you think about it. Okay, Next class comes along, you decide this person reciprocated a level 3 or 4, let me bump it up to a level 5 or 6. At a level 5 or 6, you're revealing private feelings or emotional judgments about personal events, about your true feelings about the boss or the coworker, or possibly revealing socially unacceptable opinions, judgments, or preferences, such as I detest disorganized people. Okay. So
The
here,
politics, not
maybe you
politics.
get to chatting with your classmate again. Maybe this time you talk about something you think about the professor, like, hey, I know this professor is really popular, has really great reviews on Rate My Professor, but I actually don't like him because of X, Y, and Z. See how the other person responds. Do they respond by just kind of saying, oh, okay, yeah, whatever? Or do they respond by giving their own genuine opinion about the professor? Let's say that they do reciprocate. Then next time you might go up to a level 7 or 8.
I'm not gonna lie, at first I was like, this video sucks, but this is really good. This is like game. She's teaching game. This is really good.
Revealing personal opinions or thoughts about the relationship, such as I really like you, and or revealing private feelings or judgments about highly emotional personal events, such as giving details about your unhappy marriage, and or engaging in open expression, such as tears, uninhibited laughter, more eye contact. So here, maybe you're sitting next to this classmate once more. Maybe you decide, hey, I want to ask this person if they want to study with me. So maybe you say, hey, I think we vibe, or I like you as a person, or I think you're really sweet. Would you like to study for this together? Or maybe they ask you, hey, how was your weekend? And you say, actually, it was pretty terrible. I broke up with my boyfriend. I think a level 7 or 8 was...
I'm like, oh, let's get a drink. Honestly, this is true. This is so true. And this can save so many guys from being creepy with women. This is really true. This is a perfect way to get to know a woman slowly.
Where a lot of relationships tend to fall off the reciprocation game, where a lot of people are starting to disclose personal things about their lives and realizing that it's not being reciprocated by the other person. So oftentimes they might go back down to a level 5 or 6 with something like an acquaintance. I would say level 7 or 8 is where you're starting to really ingrain that intimacy. If you get to a level 9, you might reveal feelings of affection or desire for more intimacy, such as I want to spend more time with you, and or sharing stories of shameful or embarrassing experiences that could be damaging if known publicly, and or being willing to be highly vulnerable, such as sharing extreme self-doubt or weakness. So let's say you've started hanging out with this person socially a few times, you get the sense that they can be trusted, that you have a good back and forth with them. So you might start to talk to them about maybe what happened in your relationship that caused the breakup, for instance. Or you might say, hey, I think you're a really cool person. I really like spending time with you. How would you feel about going to this event with me? And then a level 10 is where you're actually expressing love and intense feelings of caring and desire for a committed long-term relationship, and being willing to reveal deep-seated vulnerable emotions that you may have never expressed before, and to make serious personal sacrifices for the relationship. So for instance, here you might ask someone to be your partner, or you might tell a friend I love you when you hang up on the phone with them.
The problem is the problem is that too many people skip steps, right? Like I see guys doing this more when they're desperate. They'll ask a woman out the first day meeting her. And it's like, dude, like, or she's your classmate, like you're gonna know her more, you're gonna have more time to ask her out.
Along those lines. So I have an exercise using this intervention, and then I have sort of a homework assignment based on that you can practice. Take a look at this worksheet. I'll put a link to it in the description box if you want to click on it. What patterns do you notice in terms of where your friends lie on that spectrum? So map it out. Where do your family members, where do your friends lie? Where does your partner lie if you have one? And just zoom out and take a look at it. What patterns do you notice? Maybe it's difficult for you to get past a certain level of closeness. Like maybe for you, it feels really, really vulnerable to tell someone that you value them. So that's not a step that you often take with people. Or maybe the opposite. Maybe you tend to overshare with people and you find that a lot of your friends and acquaintances kind of cluster in the level 10 area. Are there certain gaps in your spectrum? Why might that be? Like for me, I noticed that there was a gap around level 6 to 9-ish. The reason that happened was because I either fully trust a person or I don't. I have a little bit of this black and white thinking, and so that's why it's difficult for me to feel like I can fully trust people that aren't a level 10. Do certain types of relationships cluster together? Like maybe all of your family are in the level 10, because maybe you're one of those people that think family are the only people you can actually ever fully trust and friends are not. Maybe the opposite. Maybe you're not super close with your family, but you do have intimate relationships with with your chosen family? What do you make of the way that these cluster? How do you think other people would rate you? So after you have yours mapped out, how do you think those people would view you on the spectrum? And if there are discrepancies, why do you think that is? So now after you've done that, I want you to challenge yourself. Based on this exercise, give yourself a little homework assignment where you challenge yourself to do something a little bit outside your comfort zone. So maybe if for you, all of your coworkers are on the very low end of the spectrum because you have trouble figuring out how to show affection to people in the professional sphere, maybe what you do is give them a holiday card or something of the sort. Or maybe if you struggle to get to a really high level of intimacy with friends, maybe you tell a friend, I care about you, or I love
that. Beautifully said, girl. Good shit, white girl. That's what I'm talking about. That is unbelievable what she's saying. She's spitting truth. Totally agree with her. And like I said, in terms of relationship, this is very applicable. Extremely applicable, man. This is where the worksheet is. This is Dr. Anna, people. Check her out on YouTube. She's great. She's amazing at this, man. That was amazing. Like, cause this is why some guys get creepy, because they don't know this. This is why some women get creepy too, because they just don't know this. If you just when you're talking to people, getting to know them, use this, and you'll be able to not overstep your boundaries too much. And it's always better to be one step behind them in intimacy. Let them push it. You know, let them push it. And it's always better to do that, in my opinion, man. Yeah, man, that's crazy, man. Crazy shit. Anyways, man, let me know what you guys think about this. If you guys enjoyed this video, check us out on Patreon. For $5 a month, you guys are able to get access to videos that I'm post here.
All right, guys, we're gonna have a brief intermission so that I could tell you guys about our new bundle that we're doing, where you guys can purchase all of my courses and get it at a discount. So this bundle is pretty much the bundle where you could just buy all of my courses. You could buy Nice Guy, which is a training course on how to come across more assertive, how to come across more confident, how to not give off nice guy vibes. You guys can get access to Dark Game, which is my full dating course on how to meet women in different scenarios, how to attract women, how to make sure you don't come across as creepy, and essentially how to act like a man and not act like a doofus, to be quite honest with you. And you get all of these bonuses, which is the bonuses of Dark Game, the bonuses of Practical Mastery, which is about how to master a skill, Social Mastery, which is how to master your social life, and the Laws of Human Nature, which is a book club videos that I had dissecting Robert Greene's book. All of this is naturally at around naturally is at $346, but you guys can purchase this bundle and get it at what's the price again? Get it at $238 pretty much. So you guys can purchase it right now. It's a money back 30-day money back guarantee. It's a good way to, rather than just buying them individually and paying extra, you guys can just purchase everything at a discount price. Now, the only thing I don't like is the fact that I'm giving you a lot of information at the same time. That makes me kind of scared, because a lot of times people don't do the things that I teach when you get too much information. But I've gotten too many requests to do this, so I'm just satisfying you guys. Purchase it right now by clicking on the description down below where it says purchase the bundle. All right, let's continue with the video.